Hi, my name's Jessica. Welcome to today's video. So there's been a little bit of a gap in me posting videos, and that's just because unfortunately due to my health conditions I've not been well enough to post any videos, but because July is Disability Pride Month and the video that I'm bringing to you today is all about disability pride, I really wanted to try and get it filmed by the end of July, so that's what I'm bringing to you today. Today's video is about my personal journey with the word disabled and disability, and I wanted to make it really clear right at the top that this is about my own personal journey, and I know that this is a really sensitive topic, so I want to make sure that people know that I don't mean to sound insensitive as I'm talking, and if what I'm saying differs from how you feel about it, I'm not meaning to offend anybody. This is just my own personal journey with my relationship with the word disabled and disability. Another thing that I wanted to say at the start is that this is a journey that I'm on, and my relationship with those words is very much an evolving and changing thing. So this isn't a static, I've made my mind up, this is how I feel about those words and that's where I am. It's a changing thing, and my relationship's going to develop over time with those words. Additionally, as I said before, I know this is a really sensitive topic, but it's really important to talk about because I know that I'm not alone in not knowing where I fit in within the disabled community, and I feel like a big part of working out where you fit in is understanding how you identify and your relationship with words such as disability and disabled. And if you can understand your relationship with those kind of words, then it really empowers you. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because I feel it's really important in understanding, your place within the disabled community and also just your place within the world. It's so empowering to be able to stand up and say, look, this is who I am, and yes, I might be different to you, but that doesn't make me lesser. I feel like that's such an important thing to be able to take ownership of, and so that's why I wanted to kind of deal with that a little bit in this video. So if you have been following along my journey a little bit on this channel, then you might know that for a lot of my life I have been able-bodied, and so my relationship with words such as disabled and disability mainly just came from, the dictionary definitions. It wasn't something that directly impacted my life, so to speak, and so I felt like that was an important place to start, because I also feel like that held me back in a lot of ways in being able to identify as disabled myself. So when you look up a dictionary definition of disability, it is defined as a physical or mental condition that limits a person either in their movements, activities or senses. So it's quite vague, which makes a lot of sense because disability is a massively broad term. Another definition that you can look up disability under is under the Equality Act of 2010, and I'm obviously looking up these terms within the context of somebody living in the UK. In order to be considered disabled under the Equality Act of 2010, you have to have either a mental or physical condition that has substantial impact on your life, and it has to be long term, so that's defined as 12 months or more. So, when I first became ill, this is what my understanding of disability was, and at that point, it didn't apply to me. I hadn't been ill for that long yet, and as far as I was concerned, I was ill. I was going to wake up the next day and I was going to be better. But as time went on, suddenly it became clear to me that actually I did fit within that bracket. But the difficulty was, at no point did a doctor turn to me and say, oh, hey, you're disabled. At no point did a government official write me a letter that said, just to let you know, you're disabled now. I know it might seem really naive, but in my mind, there had to be something more official than just me having the realization that I fit that box. And there really wasn't, and that made it so much harder to really identify as disabled, because the sense of not belonging or not being disabled enough was just completely overwhelming. And I think that this is the experience that a lot of disabled and chronically ill people go through, is that question of, am I ill enough? Am I disabled enough? Or do I count? Is my struggle enough that I deserve the label of disabled? It was something I really struggled to come to terms with, and I couldn't work out whether that term fit me or not, whether I really did have a disability or not. For a while, I just tried to use it within my home, just between my partner and I, to see what it sounded like and see if it sounded better out loud, to see if it sounded like it fit me. And it still sounded really alien. And I think a massive part of that was because I was still in that mindset of disability being something that some kind of governing body decides for you. And I think that's a really unhealthy mindset to have, because at the end of the day, this is my body. It doesn't work great. It has its issues, but it's mine. It's my home. It's where I live. And by giving so much power to some outside force to decide what my body is, was just really soul destroying, because I didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I was disabled. I didn't know if I could use that term. I didn't know if I was allowed. But when I had the realization of, oh, actually, maybe I get to decide. Maybe I get to say, well, I fit that criteria, so yes, I am. When I came to the realization that it wasn't some kind of unknown outside governing body that could decide what my body was, it was so empowering, because I could look at myself and go, oh, okay, that's fine. Yes, you're disabled. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a thing. That's just what you are. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm less than. It just means that some things are a little bit harder. I think one of the main things that being able to own the word disability gave me was that it honoured the fact that sometimes things were a struggle. It honoured the fact that my body was working so hard, and it recognised that my body was putting up a fight. When I was unsure about whether I was allowed to use the word disabled, whether I was disabled enough, I was ignoring how much my body was doing for me and what a fight it was putting up. And by actually recognizing that it has a disability, I was able to really just honor that and recognize that I'm doing great. Like, I'm struggling, but given everything, getting out of bed in the morning, that's great. I'll get a thumbs up for that because my body's fighting and it deserves the recognition for that. As I said at the start of the video, July is Disability Pride Month, and you know what? I am proud to have a disability because I feel like it makes me so much stronger. And that might sound really counterintuitive, but honestly it does. Thank you very much for watching. Happy Disability Pride Month, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.